My name is Shadi Mohktari. I teach at the School of International Service at American University. My article for the Review of International Studies is titled "The Reverse Savages Victim Saviors Metaphor of Human Rights." The article lays out a politics which, in an attempt to counter power-laden human rights dynamics, not least of which is the enlisting of women's rights, human rights, to justify devastating Western wars, downplays the moral wrongs of states asserting anti-imperialist identities, and treats any human rights claims made against them with skepticism. The article's point of departure is Mikhail Matua's now classic Harvard Law Review article from 2001, "Savages, Victims, and Saviors, the Metaphor of Human Rights." In that article, Matua argues that in kind of the grand narrative of international human rights politics, non-Western states are treated as the savages, although the real unspoken savage is the backwards culture attributed to them. Non-Western populations, particularly women and children, are constructed as the victims, agentless, innocent victims, and a host of Western actors and the human rights values they espouse are the saviors. In this article, I do not reject Matua's powerful critique. Rather, I want to shed light on a reactionary politics that often Matua's line of argument gives rise to, and I argue which also undermines local struggles in 4 different ways. First, I argue that this reverse savage victim savior politics diminishes the moral weight accorded to human rights claims, the underlying acts of violence that are committed by anti-imperialist branding states, as well as the human rights paradigm itself. Second, I argue that this politics prevents any kind of sustained focus on the moral wrongs of anti-imperialist branding states by redirecting the focus to Western transgressions, double standards, hypocrisy. Third, I argue that reverse savage victim savior politics essentially defines non-Western populations through essentialist notions of their cultures and religions, in the same way that traditional saviorism also does, but this time instead of vilifying culture, valorizing it. And finally, I argue that it contributes to the creation of moral ambiguity by insisting on moral complexity and denying moral clarity where it exists. While the reverse savage victim savior optic can be used to shed light on human rights dynamics in a variety of contexts, I use the example of post-revolutionary Iran. Specifically, I draw from an Al Jazeera interview with exiled Iranian satirists hosting a Voice of America show, an academic article using a post-colonial lens to discuss the arrest of a teenager for posting a video of herself dancing unveiled, and the travel blog posts of an American feminist anti-war group that travels to Iran. So the last part of the article provides some of my initial reflections on the extraordinary 2022 Women, Life, Freedom protests. It begins with several factors that allowed these extraordinary protests to transcend both savage victim savior and reverse savage victim savior politics. It then goes on to describe how a series of a combination of right-wing diaspora activists and foreign actors tapped into the critique of reverse savage victim savior politics to justify and promote a return to savage victim savior politics, and moreover to justify in those terms another devastating Middle Eastern war, this time on Iran. So just as the savage victim savior critique can serve to obscure local injustices, to redirect attention away from local injustices, the same can be said for international injustices. The reverse savage victim savior critique can be deployed to obscure moral clarity around international injustices, to redirect attention away from international injustices. Ultimately, this article calls for a emancipatory politics that is better equipped to hold, to recognize multiple sources of non-Western population sufferings, and to hold multiple perpetrators to account, to move away from identifying victims and to focus on actual injustices, and to do all of this in a way that neither gives imperialism a pass nor anti-imperialist branding states a pass. Thank you.